Hello and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be making a couple of recipes from the Firefly Cookbook. We're going to be doing Jayne's spaghetti casserole as well as Zoe's garlic griddle bread. The ingredients we need for the casserole are 2 pounds of ground beef, 8 ounces of shredded mozzarella cheese. The recipe called for a 26-ounce can of fire roasted tomatoes. I don't have those, as I am cooking from my pantry ingredients, so I am using 2 14.5 ounce cans of the fire roasted tomatoes. I've also got 1 large onion that I've diced up. I have 3 cloves of minced garlic, 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, a half of a cup of grated Parmesan cheese, and we're also going to need a half of a 1-pound package of spaghetti noodles. And that is it, guys. That's all we're going to need for that. When it's time to make the bread, I will go ahead and go over the ingredients for that at that time. So let me get you moved over to my stove, and we'll go ahead and get these ingredients cooking. Alright guys, I've got you over at my stove, and as you can see, I've already gone ahead and added my onions in, and I've started to cook them, and I'm looking for them to start turning brown, which they have. I'm going to go ahead and get my ground beef opened up. And I'm going to go ahead and add in my garlic at this point. And I'm just going to cook that until it turns fragrant. And then we're going to add our hamburger into it. On my back burner, I have a pot of water coming up to a boil. And once we get the hamburger cooked, then I'll go ahead and drop my spaghetti noodles. So that looks pretty good right there. I'm going to go ahead and drop in my hamburger and get this broken up and cooked down. And once I get it completely browned, I'm going to go ahead and drain off any fat that gets rendered out of the hamburger, because we don't want that in our final dish. So let me get this cooked, and I will bring you guys back once that's done. Alright guys, so I've got the hamburger all cooked up, and what I'm going to do now is go ahead and add in my 2 cans of tomatoes. And we're just going to stir these in, as well as our 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning. And I'm just going to give this a really good stir. Alright guys, well I've got this all stirred in. We're going to have to see how this holds together, because it is not a lot of sauce, is it? It's more just meat and tomatoes. But we're going to see how the dish ends up coming together. And let's see, let's give it a taste for seasoning and see what we think. It's actually pretty good. What I'm going to do, though, is go ahead and add some black pepper. And it definitely needs some salt. I'm not going to add too much because I am going to be adding the salty Parmesan to it, but it does need a little bit. And it looks like it's actually starting to cook down a little bit and create a little bit of a sauce, so I'm kind of pleased with that. Now, I'm also going to go ahead, while this warms up a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and open up my noodles, and I'm just going to cook these to the package directions. And again, we're going to want like a half a box of this. And what we want to do before we put our noodles in the water is break them in half. Grab just a few more out of there. Oh, there we go. And I'm just going to break them straight in to my salted water. And I'm going to let those cook for 11 minutes, which is what my package says they need to cook for. And make sure you do stir them once you put it, as soon as you put them in, as that will prevent them from clumping up. So we have that going. I'm going to set my timer, and I will bring you guys back once all this is ready. Alright guys, we are back at my other counter, and we are going to go ahead and get our casserole assembled. And just as if you were making a lasagna, we are going to start with some of our meat sauce in the bottom. And then we're going to go ahead and add our noodles in. Here we go. Make sure you spread them around really well. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in some of our mozzarella cheese. Whoop, let me get that on my way. There we go. And then we're going to repeat with our sauce. So while I'm putting these layers on, I would like to remind you of the Gamers and Geeks playlist that Jayne and I have going on our channels. If you guys would like to be a part of it, it's really easy. It's a community-driven playlist made up of you, our friends and YouTube family. And all you have to do is go out there and make a cooking video. And then once you've done that, post it to your channel. And then let either Jayne or I know in the comment section of our latest cooking videos, or if you're a part of our Discord servers, you can let us know over there as well. We are finally over 180 recipes on the video, and I'm absolutely amazed at the support that you guys have given it. It really means a lot to the both of us to see how much you guys have embraced it and are continuing to help it grow. So I'm going to go ahead and finish getting this assembled, and then I'll bring you back once I've done that. Alright guys, I have got the final layer on here, and I'm just going to go ahead and top it with all the remaining sauce that I've got. So not very much. I think I may have made a couple of them a little bit heavier on the sauce than I probably should have, but I do believe this is going to be fine. Just make sure we get those noodles covered so they don't dry out while they're in the oven. Here we go. That looks pretty good to me. So now all that's left to do is to top it with our ½ cup of grated Parmesan cheese. And then this is going to go into a 350-degree oven for 30 minutes, or until our top is golden brown and bubbly. So that looks really good. I am excited to try this one today, guys. Alright, I'm going to get this over in the oven, and we're going to go ahead and get our fry bread started. So just give me a few minutes and I'll be back with you. Alright guys, for our garlic griddle bread, we are going to need some oil for frying, which I have over on my stove already. I've got 2 cups of flour, 3/4 cup of milk, 2 whole cloves of garlic, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, and 1 teaspoon of salt. And I also have a ½ cup of grated Parmesan cheese that I've divided in half. Alright guys, so to get started, all I'm going to do is go ahead and dump in my 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. I'm going to use a garlic press to crush in my garlic. Now if you wanted, you could mince this really fine, but I really like how crushed this gets it. So I think this is going to actually work better. And I think this clove is like way too big. But I think we can make him work. There we go. Alrighty, there we go. Let me go ahead and just stir this around. And I'm also going to add in my salt and baking soda. I'm going to make sure that is well incorporated so you don't end up with little salty pockets in there. So that looks really good. And now I'm just going to start adding my milk until I have a dough that comes together but isn't wet. Go ahead and add the rest in. So at this point I'm just going to go in there with my hand and start getting this to completely come together. And I'm going to continue to do this until all the dry has been incorporated in, and I've kneaded it for about 5 minutes. Alright guys, I've gone ahead and divided my dough up after I kneaded it, and now what I'm doing is just rolling it into a little ball, and I'm starting to flatten it with my hands, and then I just take my rolling pin and continue to flatten it out until I get roughly a size that I'm happy with. So I'm going to continue to do this until I get them all done, and then we'll move over to the stove and get these fried up. Alright guys, I've got you over at my stove, and I've already heated up my oil, and I'm going to go ahead and just start dropping these in. We're going to put a couple in at a time. Make sure you do it away from you. And we're going to fry these for about a minute on each side. There we go. That one is already turning brown, so let me go ahead and flip it over, as well as that one. I'll turn my heat down just a little bit. Oh wow, these smell really good. I can already smell the garlic in them. You should be careful that they don't burn. Keep an eye on them. That looks pretty good. So I'm just going to transfer those over to my plate that I've lined with paper towel to pick up any extra grease off of them. And I'm going to dust them with a little bit of our extra Parmesan cheese while they're still hot, so that can start to melt over the tops of them. Alright guys, so let me get the remainder of these cooked up for you. And once our casserole is out of the oven, I will go ahead and get it plated up, and we will see what the final dish looks like. Alright guys, our spaghetti casserole is out of the oven, and I did go ahead and allow it to set on the counter for about 10 minutes just to help it cool down and to start melding together. I think I could probably let it go on a little bit longer. Maybe it would have looked more like a casserole instead of a plate of spaghetti. But either way, it does smell really good, and I'm anxious to get in here and give it a taste and see what we think about it. I did sprinkle a little bit of extra Parmesan cheese to the top of it, just because I do like that little bit extra, and I can see the ooey gooey mozzarella cheese up there. So I'm going to kind of go for a bite of that, see if we can get into the meat as well. Alright guys, our bread did cook all the way through. Very garlicky, very cheesy. I really like this. I will definitely be making this again. And it goes really well with our spaghetti here. But yeah, I'm liking the bread. So overall, I think it's a pretty good dish. Could definitely have used a few tweaks here and there. Definitely needed the addition of the salt and pepper, which was not in the recipe. And I do definitely think it could have benefited from a can of tomato sauce. Alright guys, that's going to be it for me for today. I'd like to remind you to check out the Gamers and Geeks playlist. As always, I will leave a link down in the description to it. If you guys like this video, leave me a comment down below. If you guys tried this recipe out, let me know how it turns out for you. And as always, thank you all so very much for joining me today. I've been Vault Girl. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I hope I see you in the next one.